Your brain, your gut, your heart, your nervous system. Science is proving these aren't separate systems. They are one. And together, they are the true foundation of your health. Welcome to the Brain Gut Connection podcast. Your host, Dave Bretthauer, guides you through the science of how everything inside you is connected, how your brain talks to your gut, how your heart signals your nervous system, and why your immune system is at the center of all of it. The Brain Gut Connection podcast. Let's get into today's episode.
Hey, welcome to the Brain Gut Connection podcast. I'm Dave, and this is the show where we dig into the science of how your gut and your brain are running a secret partnership and what that means for your health, your mood, and how you feel every single day. New here? Start here. This is episode 1. Let me start with a question, and I want you to really think about this before you answer it. When you're nervous, like genuinely nervous, where do you feel it? Not where do you think about it, where do you feel it? I'll bet it's not in your head. It's in your stomach, the butterflies, the knot, maybe the sudden urge to find the nearest bathroom. That's not a coincidence. That's not a metaphor. That is actual biology. And most people walk around their entire lives completely unaware that their gut is running what I call a shadow operation on their health, their mood, and their brain function 24 hours a day. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that shadow operation. We're going to talk about something called the gut-brain axis. What it is, why it matters, and why the fact that you've never heard of it might actually explain a whole lot about how you've been feeling. Here's a fact that is going to change how you look at your own body. Your gut contains over 500 million neurons. Nerve cells, the same type of cell your brain uses to think, process emotion, and control your body. Scientists call this network of nerve cells in your digestive system the enteric nervous system. It's so sophisticated, so self-sufficient, that researchers gave it a nickname, the second brain. Now, your actual brain, the one in your skull, has about 86 billion neurons. So yes, your brain is bigger, but 500 million is not nothing. That is a fully functional independent nervous system running inside your digestive tract. And here's where it gets really interesting. These two nervous systems, the one in your head and the one in your gut, they communicate constantly. They're connected by a physical nerve called the vagus nerve. Think of the vagus nerve as the interstate highway between your gut and your brain. Messages fly back and forth all day long. And here's a fact that surprises most people when they hear it for the first time. 80% of the signals on that highway travel upward from gut to brain, not the other way around. Your gut is doing most of the talking. Your brain is mostly just listening. Now, let me give you one more piece of this puzzle, because this one tends to really land. Serotonin, you've heard of it. It's the neurotransmitter most associated with mood, emotional balance, feelings of well-being. When doctors talk about depression and anxiety, they often talk about serotonin levels. But here's what they don't usually mention in that same conversation. Your gut produces 90 to 95% of your body's serotonin. Not your brain, your gut. So when someone tells you that depression's all in your head, the science says it might actually start in your belly. Now here's why this all matters beyond just being a cool piece of trivia. The connection between your gut and your brain runs in both directions. It's a feedback loop, a two-way street. When you're under stress, your brain sends signals down through the vagus nerve. Those signals can trigger inflammation in your gut, slow down your digestion, and start disrupting the community of bacteria living in your digestive system, what we call the microbiome. And when your microbiome gets disrupted, it sends distress signals back up to your brain, which affects your mood, your mental clarity, your energy levels, your sleep, your ability to handle stress. This is why two people can eat the exact same meal and feel completely different an hour later. This is why chronic stress doesn't just make you feel mentally bad, it physically changes what's happening in your gut. This is why so many people with anxiety also struggle with IBS. And so many people with IBS also deal with anxiety. They're not two separate problems. They're two ends of the same loop. Gut health is not just a digestive issue, it is a whole body, whole brain issue. And once you understand that, a lot of things start making a whole lot more sense. I want to point you to some real science here because this stuff is backed up, and I'm not talking about wellness blogs or supplement company websites. I'm talking about peer-reviewed, published research. In 2019, a team led by Dr. John Cryan published what became one of the most cited papers in gut-brain science in physiological reviews, one of the most respected journals in biology. The paper is called The Microbiota Gut-Brain Axis. They mapped out in extraordinary detail how the gut microbiome communicates with the central nervous system through neural pathways, through hormones, through the immune system. And they found direct connections between microbiome disruption and anxiety, depression, autism spectrum disorders, and neurodegenerative diseases. And just recently, researchers at Stanford Medicine published new findings connecting gut-brain disruption to long COVID, Parkinson's disease, and cognitive problems, finding that reduced serotonin levels originating in the gut can directly impair how the brain functions. This is not fringe science. This is mainstream. This is where medicine is going. Links to both studies are in the show notes. Quick myth versus fact before we close. Myth: gut health just means better digestion. Fact: gut health directly influences your immune system, and 70% of your immune system actually lives in your gut. It influences your mood, your cognitive function, your sleep, your body's ability to manage inflammation, and your brain's ability to regulate emotion. Better digestion? That's just the bonus. And because we take the science seriously around here, but we don't take ourselves too seriously, why did the gut bacteria throw a party? Because they finally got the culture going. Look, if you're going to spend time thinking about what's living in your intestines, you might as well laugh about it. Here's where I want to leave you today. There's a reason you've always trusted your gut. It turns out that was the smartest thing you could do. Next week, we're going to zoom in on the microbiome itself, the 38 trillion microorganisms living in your gut right now, what they actually do, and what's quietly wiping them out without you even realizing it. Trust me, you're going to want to hear that one. Thanks for being here for episode 1. If this landed for you, share it with someone who could use it. To your gut and your glory. I'm Dave. This has been the Brain Gut Connection.
If today's episode got you thinking, that was the whole point. For show notes, free resources, and the weekly newsletter, visit braingutconnect.com. Find us on Instagram at braingutconnection and subscribe on YouTube so you never miss an episode. Want to reach Dave directly? Email him at dave@braingutconnect.com. He reads every one. Thank you for listening. This concludes the most thought-provoking portion of your day. Until next time, stay happy, healthy, and educated.